orders for to
What were you saying?
Oh, she was just asking Tim to record it, so we're good. You can get
Okay,
started.
great. Sounds good. Okay, so thank you, Ben, for introducing me. Welcome to our first workshop, hosted by the Graduate Library Committee on AI and ethical tools for academic research. As Ben mentioned, we are always looking for volunteers. So if you are interested, I'm sure you can reach out to Ben or myself. And usually on the group me, I check that regularly. So if you are interested in joining. So I'm Melanece Wesley. I'm a social worker. You're probably wondering why a social worker is even talking about AI. I have a lot of interest in AI, regards to like AI in social work, AI for mental health interventions. My dissertation is going to be focused on the ethical use of AI for decision making and mental health interventions. And currently, I am a graduate researcher for the AI Institute for Societal Decision Making, and it's an institute that brings together computer scientists and engineers with social science researchers. And we do different areas of research, whether that be public health, ethics, disaster management. I'm currently doing AI research on AI use for risk communication and disasters. And I'm also serving on their student leadership council. And funny enough, I'm the only Black student on the council. I'm the only Afro-Latina on the council. I'm the only social worker on the council, and I'm the only person in a HBCU on the council. And later on, I'll kind of describe some of the ethics surrounding AI, and just trying to drive home the point that it's important that we're at those, tables, because decisions are happening. And so having input from diverse perspectives is really important. So it's kind of my background. So I just want to give like a quick definition of what AI is. So it's computer systems or machines able to perform complex tasks that usually require human intelligence. There's several definitions of AI, but that's the simplest one. And then, so I know there's a big thing about like AI and it's new and all this stuff, but we use AI every day without even thinking about it. Traditional AI is the ones we usually use. So that's based on predefined rules and algorithms to perform specific tasks. So if that's like your Google Maps, your Siri, your Alexa, chat box, even your bank uses AI to check for fraud. And we're glad that they do that. But what's gotten like more news and big is the generative AI. So that's AI that can generate new content based on data that it's trained on. So that's the chat GBT, that's the augmented reality, deep fakes. I don't know if you guys have seen like AI images. They kind of look a little off and a little weird. So you can usually tell when something's been AI generated. But that's generative AI, which is the AI that's kind of been getting a lot of more attention and it's scaring people. So before I show you the tools and everything, I want to give you guys some considerations slash warnings. So when you use these tools, you can't say, oh, you didn't tell me. I just want to make things clear. So one of the things that's important when you're using these AI tools is understanding that they're not always accurate or reliable. Generally they are, which is why I wouldn't be giving them to you if I thought they were, not accurate and reliable, but sometimes they don't always give like the full picture. So my research is focused on AI, but also specifically I look at Afro-Latina populations. And I've been doing that research for a really long time. So I'm really cognizant of what studies are out there and kind of generally what the literature says. So I can tell if I'm using a tool and I'm like, this is kind of might be missing. Or sometimes it might not be super reliable. I know in earlier versions of like ChatGPT, you couldn't, they couldn't access anything past like 2021. I believe they've changed that, but just making sure that you know that it's not 100%. So you really want to make sure that you're checking whatever it produces for you. The other thing is bias and discrimination. So this is kind of around ethics in terms of making sure that the tools that you're using, when it does give you content, you're checking for biases and all that. Algorithms are based on pre-existing data, and we know that pre-existing data is biased and has gaps and doesn't always consider marginalized groups. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to that and the things that it's giving you. I put the name Joy Boamuini. I'm probably messing up her name, but she is a Black engineer, computer engineer who started the Algorithmic Justice League. And I wanted to shout her out because she's doing a lot of good work surrounding AI and ethical use for algorithms and all those kinds of things. So if you're interested, she has some really good TED Talks on YouTube and stuff, just in case you're interested in that area. The other consideration that's important is data privacy and security. So you want to make sure, sometimes we don't always read the fine print. I admit I don't always read the fine print. So you want to make sure that you are kind of seeing what you're agreeing to, if you agree to the sites. Um, Something that I do is I have a separate email that I use for some of these tools if I use them. And that's because I'm like, let me use an email that doesn't have anything that tied to me so they can't hack into my email. And that makes me feel better. I don't know if it actually does anything, but it makes me feel better. So just paying attention to data privacy and security and things like that when you're using these tools. The other thing is cost and budget. I'm a graduate student, so that means I'm balling on a budget. And so that means that, so all these tools I'm going to show you all are free, but just like a Netflix subscription, the more you pay, the more you get. So all of these are free, but you'll notice like sometimes it'll be like, okay, you can only do 2 prompts. Or if you pay more, you'll get whatever, more sources or whatever it says. So and you'll see when I show you some of these tools, that comes up a lot. So in my opinion, you don't have to pay for AI tools, especially if they give them for free. However, I would say if you find a tool that you really, really like, it might be worth considering putting it into your budget, if it really is helpful for you. But by any means, you don't have to buy anything. And then my last point is just to consult with your professors, your advisors, and your department to make sure that you're allowed to use some of these tools, or just seeing what they say. I believe all these tools that I'm going to be showing you are ethical. I teach, so if any of my students use these tools, I wouldn't be upset, but someone might disagree with me. So just consulting with whoever your advisor is or your department and seeing what their stance on the use of AI. I personally think that it's not going anywhere. And especially as someone who's teaching, I want to know what students are using and being able to give them some tools that I think can be helpful and at the same time ethical. So just another consideration. Um, and then just some benefits, since I talked about all those considerations. I think they're really good for organization. I think they can help with efficiency, which makes you kind of boost your ideas. And I think they're really good for getting started with things. In my opinion, I personally haven't seen a tool that I think can do what I do. I would like to think of myself as pretty intelligent, and I don't think it can replace what I do in terms of my research and things like that. But one of the things that I like about it is it helps you get started, and I think sometimes that can be the biggest setback, at least for me, when I go to do research and things. So it's a tool, it's an aid, it's not a replacement, in my opinion. So. Now that I'm done with all that talking about that, I'm gonna start showing you the tools. Are there any questions before?
Yes, this is Brian. I have a question.
Yes.
So You mentioned memberships. What would be a personal cut line for you to actually upgrade your membership? Like
What do you
what?
mean?
So you have these services, these baseline services. With the last upgrade, what was your determination factor to say, okay, I'm willing to upgrade this service?
Um, I mean, right? I would say if you find a tool that you really like or is really helpful for you, then I would say pay for it. If you find it
So,
super helpful.
so
So that's
just to really pinpoint the question, I'm asking you personally, like, do you have an example where you say, okay, I upgraded a service and not speaking to the broad um, public?
right now I don't think I'm paying for any services. But I'm about to show you the tools and some of the ones that I think would be valuable. So I don't think I'm paying for any at the time because I'm figuring out my own budget in school and all that. But I can show you, once I show you these tools, I can show you some that might be helpful that I think I would pay for, if that's helpful for you.
Thank you.
Um, any other questions? All right, so I'm gonna get started in terms of showing you these tools. All right. So can you all see my screen? Everything? Just want to make sure you guys can see this.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the first one that I'm going to show you is Litmaps, and the name kind of gives itself what it is. So it's a map of literature. So with this tool, you can discover new literature, you can visualize it, share, monitor about new papers and things for that. Like I said, it has get started for free here. So you can insert like keywords, an author, or your DOI. So like I said, I focus on Afro-Latino populations. So I know a lot of the literature that's surrounding that topic. And specifically, I look at mental health, public health, and health disparities and things like that. So what I do is I have like a paper that I already know. So I'm gonna type in skin color matters in Latino health. So already I know that these three sites, so Cueves, Adams, these are papers that I cite all the time. And here you have this one that I kind of typed in already. So what I do is, and again, you can do keywords or something like that, but if you have a paper that you already kind of know in your head is like the most popular one or one you said all the time, I would put it in like this. So I'm gonna type in, so I already typed it in, so I'll click it. And then what it does is create a lit map for you. So right now I'm in guest mode. So you can sign up for a free account. So I'll show you what the free account one looks like. But essentially what you have here is it creates kind of like this literature map for you. And already looking at this map, I see two authors that I cite. Like these are kind of like seminal articles. So that's Borel. So I see these two right here. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. Um, it has even an article back from 1987. Um, and even just some newer articles. I think if you pay, well, I'll show you the version where you sign in. Oh, we have a question. Yeah, Angelina?
Yes. Can you just type in what you need, or can you use Boolean phrases like in like a search?
Yeah, yeah. So you could type in anything, honestly, related to
Okay.
your research. I just think it's good to start with an article that you already know, like, okay, this is a, article I use all the time or whatever, and just kind of seeing um some articles related to it. But you can type in whatever. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So what it good. So what it does, it on the side, you can thank you for that question. It'll show you these different articles here. Um, and you'll see, I'll click here and I'll try to put in like a date, 2020. 2024, done, and it'll say access with a free account. So it really wants me to do a free account. So I'll show you guys in a second what that is, how it looks. It's not anything too different, but one of the things I like about it is the fact that you can kind of do a picture here. And I like in the corner, it says Litmaps, so you know exactly where it came from, and you can share this with people. So 1 second while I show you the actual account. So I'm going to sign into my account. Again, I sign in with the kind of email that I use for everything. 1 second. Incorrect email. I don't know why my account won't work. Okay. Well, it doesn't like me today. I thought I could do it. Let me reshare. Okay. So for some reason I can't show y'all the actual account that I'm using. It's saying wrong password, even though I just put it in, but it's okay. But basically what it can do when you get the free account, you can use different, like right now, if I try to show you different way it looks, I have to sign into a free account, but you can do different visualizations. So it'll do like a ring side by side. You could do it by author or the standard edition. And then also when you sign in with the free account, I think you can put in like actual dates and keywords and other thing, and even like from a journal. So that's Litmaps. So the next tool I'm going to show you guys is called Scite. And it's called Scite because it actually does actual citations. I kind of think of it as like a enhanced Google. That's because when it gives you an answer, it actually shows you literature to cite its answer rather than it just outputting it something to you. And I know that's like the difference between like ChatGPT and Scite. So here, what you can do is you can ask it a question, put in your research topic, and here you have like different settings. So you can say always use references, never use references, abstracts only, citation statements. You can do the year. So if I wanted to do from 2022 to 2024 or whatever, your publication type. So I'm going to say articles, APA format, because that's the one that I use, journals. So all these different things that you can kind of put in to get your response. And you can plus apply. So I'm going to type in let's see, maybe I can type in the use of AI in higher education. So I'm going to click go. So you see it says 2 free prompts. Start your trial to get unlimited prompts. So it wants you to get that trial. But you don't have to, like I said. So what it does is it takes a little second to get the responses. But here it shows you the search strategy that it used. So these are searches the assistant ran to find references. Here are the top 25 publications. So you have here all these references that it used. And then this is the search strategy where you can also edit the search. And so here it has responses that are like grounded in actual literature. So response 1, response 2, response 3. You can set it up that way or set it up in a paragraph form, which I'll show you. But when you click on this for the responses, it'll show you view full text. So I think you can show it on the actual publisher's site. Then you can see how many times it's been cited and all these kind of different things. And then Down here, you can say use longer response, prioritize newer references, use abstracts only. So I'm going to click here, specify your own settings. So I'm going to do from an unstructured response. So I'll type in maybe, is there a gap in literature? And don't judge me, y'all. I'm in a PhD program, but I can't spell very well. Is there a gap in literature surrounding AI use in higher education? So, I'll load. Sometimes it takes a little minute. So here we have search strategies again, publications consulted, and then it says composing response based on 25 results. So it's kind of doing that, takes a little second. So it says fact checking my answer to make sure it's correct. Hang on. So here you go. It gives you an answer with actual literature again. So one notable gap is lack of comprehensive frameworks for integrating AI into educator preparation programs. So it says here Black 2024. So again, how I said, making sure you're paying attention to like accuracy and reliability. This is a great answer. It shows that it's, this is good. But what you want to make sure is that that's actually true. So you want to make sure that when you click on this, you go to the actual, I can do view full text. When you go to the actual site, you want to make sure you go through the article to make sure that, yes, they're citing something that is actually true in this response. Don't just take it as face value, be like, oh yeah, everything's good. You still want to make sure you check to make sure that it's good. And so that's kind of Scite. And you can ask more questions. This might be one I would potentially start a free trial for, because I think it's good to get you started. Obviously, you're gonna need a lot more when it comes to responses and getting good answers, but I think this is a good place to start with actual cited literature. So that is Scite. See a question?
Yeah, so would you mind, well, I had a question actually regarding the last one. When you type in keywords, does it kind of make the mind maps based on the keywords? And with Scite, does it ask you for a free trial every time you bring the website up? Like, do you get 2 prompts each time you use the platform? Do you have to use incognito to get 2 more? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I'm sure you can use incognito to use 2 more to get around it. It's gonna give you 2 free prompts when you sign into it. Probably if you haven't used incognito, it's gonna say, oh, you're out of prompts, so it's gonna force you to get a free trial. So that's kind of how you do it. For Litmaps, that's the one you wanted to ask about before.
Yeah, with the
Um,
keywords.
yeah, so okay, from here, you can search. You can even import, and when I had the free account, I could have showed you. You can import an article of your own. You can store your references here, but you can search. Do you have a research area? Let me see. I hope it does it. Do you have a topic?
White fragility.
Fragility? White fragility?
Yeah.
Search. So here you have some articles that it's giving you, and then this one looks good. White fragility, why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism. You can click in it, explore related articles. Hopefully it does it and doesn't say to me. So probably because I've used up my thing, I can't get any more, but that's basically what it does.
Okay.
But it'll show you more, I think, just because I'm in guest mode. Angelina?
Yes. So in terms of like the line from like Frey to Rodale 2020, does that mean there's a correlation or does that mean
Yeah.
like okay, okay,
Mhm.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, that means there's a correlation between these articles, and I'm trying to see if they're the one I did before. So yeah, it actually shows you, I don't know where it is right now, but it'll show you which each line kind of means. But this means that they are correlated, highly related to each other. That makes sense. All right. So, oh, Angelina, if you're saying something, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. So also with the correlation, can you go back to the map?
Mhm.
Like, is there correlation between articles instead of just the main article?
Yeah,
Like-
I believe so. But so yes. So like here,
Okay, I saw it. Go to, yeah, right there. Yeah.
right there, yes.
Morel. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
Oh, okay.
And there's another one I'm going to show you that does this even better. It's a little too intense for me, but there's another one I'll also show you that does something really similar.
Okay, thank you.
So have Litmaps, have Scite. The next one I'm going to show you is SciSpace. So SciSpace is kind of just like the last one a little bit in terms of it gives you actual cited answers. I would call it like a fancy Google as well. You can ask it a question. But here I like this one. What are aging COVID patients more susceptible to severe complications? So I'm going to click on that. And it shows me answers from top 5 papers. So here it gives me this is the response with cited literature. But what I like here is that it'll show you the paper insights. And then on the side here, you can get more. So if I want to say, what was the methods used? So papers, insights, methods used. And more, of course, more is going to be dine in. But this is just good to get kind of like an overall kind of representation here. And then when you click on, and you can see here, okay, 151 citations, 68 citations, that kind of thing. Then when you click on it, you can actually go in and chat with the paper. So you can say, what are the limitations? And it'll give you other prompts. So have it load. So shows you these limitations of the paper quickly. But again, since we're researchers and since we need to pay attention, you still want to go in and make sure you're going through the paper and making sure this answer is correct, which is sometimes why it can be a little counterintuitive. But again, I think it's just a good place to get you started. So you can download this PDF if it's free, or it'll show you directly to, so I think you click here or something. You can click it to go to the actual website of this paper. So that's something that you can do when you're kind of looking at all these papers, just to kind of get like a quick overview. So that is SciSpace. So next is connected papers. So connected papers is like Litmaps, just more intense. Angelina, since you actually were asking about this, do you have a topic or a paper that I can type in?
Yeah. So my research focuses on um African American mental health or Black mental health and police brutality.
Black mental health and police brutality. So it's gonna search for see all paper suggestions. So here are some paper suggestions. Is there a paper you see here that you have used or you like?
Not the first three, but go down. Um, I think the one go up a little bit. Yes, Ortiz. And stop
This one?
resisting.
Stop resisting?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I'll click on this one. Takes a little bit. So what I just did with Angelina, if you don't know any articles, obviously you can click on whatever, but it is good to build an from what you already know.
Okay.
So it's building the graph. Takes a little second. Please hurry.
So I see we have to be patient with AI.
You do have to be patient, of course. You know, it's one of the best virtues, they say. So the reason why you got to be patient, because it's you see this, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So here, so you go, so this is the graph that it gives you, how to read the graph. So papers are arranged according to, oh, it went away. Help. I'm like, you guys are at the bottom, so I'm trying to click on this. Second. Okay, so papers are arranged according to their similarity. Note size is the number of citation. Note color is the publishing year. And then similar papers have strong connecting lines. So that's kind of how you read it. So this is a lot. And obviously, if your topic is more research, I'm pretty sure there's going to be more research articles to look at. This is all the connections that it has here. So there's a lot of connections. And you can do it on the side as well. Let me put you guys back on the bottom. So on the side, it also shows you the papers. And you can click it. You can open a new graph to make it, to make another one. You see it's here's 20 citations, and it'll show you, you can actually download the PDF or go to the actual site. The other thing it does is you can do prior work. So I'm assuming these are kind of some like seminal articles related to this work here, and then you can do derivative. So works that are similar to that. This is a little clunky for me, gives me anxiety, but I think it is still pretty good. So derivative, so just things that are similar. So instead of doing the graph, you can also just do a list. You can go year, citation, references, similarity to origin. And then you can also do here some filters. So in this, there's 0 PDFs that are available, meaning like you can download it directly from the site. But open access means that, okay, if you click on this, go to the site, it'll download directly. All the other ones, I'm sure you have to log in with our institutional credits to get in.
Okay,
So,
can I ask, how far back does it go?
um,
And can you
so
switch the years?
yeah, so you can filter by year. I think there's a one where you can filter by even further back, probably. But right here,
Okay,
you have filter by year. If you play with it, you can probably see how far back you can go. But like, for example, this one's from, prior work from 2004. I'm sure if I click like open graph, we're gonna have to wait again. But I'm sure if I click on it, it might show me things surrounding that time. But I'm sure you can filter it by year exactly once you like sign in.
okay, thank you.
You can see if it will build that graph more quickly. And also, I think also on Litmaps and on connected papers, you can make your own maps. So you've used 2 out of 2 free graphs this month. Log in to get 3 more. They want you to log in. So that's all that's all you have. But let me see. So looking at these, some older articles, so 1999, 2005, 2003. So it's looking like it did kind of go to articles that were from maybe that work from that main work that we did from Cooper. 2004. And again, I'm going to remind you, as much as like, okay, this is good. This is a good list. This is a lot, right? It might not be showing you everything still. This is just to get you started. So I wouldn't just say like, okay, yeah, it's showing me all the articles I have. I'm good. I can go home. I would say still make sure you're looking up articles on your own just in case it misses something or there's a special site or anything like that. Just something to get you going and started and start looking at some literature. So next we have Perplexity. So Perplexity is similar to Scite. You can ask it any kind of question. It has here a focus feature. So I would put in academic, and I'm just going to use one of their prompts that says quantum computing 2024. So I'm going to go to quantum computing 2024, get an answer. Even though I'm not, well, I kind of know what it is, but not really. So here it provides you an answer, and usually there's like little circles that show you the citations as well. I'm not seeing them here for some reason, but usually there's little citations as well for some of these answers. I can follow up and ask them, what exactly is quantum computing? So it gives me sources with an actual answer. So these are kind of some of these sources that I'm assuming will tell me exactly what quantum computing is. And you can ask other follow-up questions. The other thing I think is cool is you can search for images here. You can search for videos, and you can generate an image in Pro. So that's Perplexity. It's similar to the other ones. I would say a lot of these are similar, and the reason why I show them all is because some I think are better than others. Like connected papers I think is great, but if I just need to look at literature real quick, I'm gonna look at Litmaps rather than connected papers. But connected papers might be good if you are doing something a little bit deeper. So it depends. Some of them, if you play with them, they all kind of have like their different tweaks and things like that. So you can decide which one you like to use. And again, these aren't all the tools that there are. There are probably hundreds at this point. So just playing with it to see exactly what you like. Maybe you like something more aesthetically pleasing, or something might be more easier to use. So that's kind of why I'm just showing like different versions of things. So the last one I'm going to show you is not so much looking up research, but it's called Recast. And I actually just found out about this one. So this one is you give it articles and then it produces it in like a podcast form. So for people who like to listen, or maybe at the time you're like, I don't want to read this right now, I just want to listen to it. What it does is turn your articles into podcasts. So for example, right here, this is one of the articles it has as an example. So you have this article. And then what it does is it plays it for you in a podcast form. So I'll play it. Hopefully
This
you guys
is a
can hear it.
recast of the 10,100 word piece, Why AI Will Save the World, Andreessen Horowitz, from Andreessen Horowitz. This article discusses the fear of AI, debunking the myths of it killing us all and ruining society, and looks at the potential benefits of responsibly utilizing it. Let's listen.
So I grew up listening to NPR because my dad would play it. So it's kind of like NPR to me.
That could kill us, or through intelligent software.
And I like that the voices are like everyday voices. But I'm going to play this video just so you guys can get an even better explanation from the person that created it. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Hi, I'm Adam, co-founder and CEO of Recast. Do you have a big reading backlog or a million open tabs you mean to read but know you'll never get to? Recast can help. Our app takes any article online and turns it into a bite-sized audio combo so you can read more without reading. Let's hear a sample. Here's this foreign policy article about hydrogen fuel, and here's the recast of it.
This is a recast of the 4,300-word piece. Hydrogen is the future. Let's listen in.
Today, we're diving into the world of hydrogen and its potential role in our future energy systems.
As we know, many governments around the world are committed to decarbonizing their economies, and hydrogen has emerged as a potential solution.
Recasts are multi-speaker conversations in rich AI voices, not just dry direct readouts of the article. And that makes a big difference. You can recast an article from our in-app browser, desktop Chrome extension, or my personal favorite, the iOS Safari share sheet. But you don't even need to submit. There's thousands of awesome recasts already in the app from the community. You can play them right here, or you can add them to your queue for later. Over in the For You tab, we make a personalized playlist for you every single day. The more you use it, the better your recs will get. Lastly, there's a full-featured web app, so you can listen from your computer or Android phone. So head to letsrecast.ai to sign up and get recasting today. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments.
So that's recast. I actually myself haven't used this one, but I think it's really cool. Me personally, I like to read things. I'm not really good with audiobooks. I've read 95 books this year so far, and I read every single word. But if you like audiobooks or anything like that, I think it would be good. Or even just if you're, doing something else and you want to get some reading, you could do that. So those are all the apps that I have to show you today. I'm open for any questions. Like I said, there's more of these, a lot more, but those are just kind of some ones that I wanted to share. I will stop share. Any questions, any comments, any concerns?
Hey, Melanese. This is
Hi, Malika.
Malika.
Hi.
How you doing? This is
Good.
amazing. This is really helpful. Thank you so much for sharing. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Malika. You're welcome. I'm also gonna put here my information. Share this on the screen real quick. So, I like talking about AI a lot. So if you have any interest in AI, I'm always down to have a conversation. So you can reach out to me. The other thing is there's a lot, I guess, like I said, there's a lot more tools, there's a lot more ethical implications and all these things. So make sure that you are asking your professors, your department, and everything like that about, okay, can I use this tool? Or what do you think of this? Just in case. And let me go to the chat. Thank you, Dr. Adams. Just clarify, we should use a secondary email when creating these free accounts. You don't have to use a secondary email. I just suggest it because it makes me feel better. But you don't have to. You can use your own account. I just feel better with an email that they can't track, like go into my email and try to get my banking information or something like that. But you don't have to. Do you have a quick list with the links that you shared today by chance? I don't. I should have done that. But I will type in the sites. Here are all the sites. I'll put them all in the chat. If you just Google them, they'll come right up. So hopefully, did that send? No? Hopefully that sent.
Yes, it posted.
Okay. Oh, Angelina.
Yes, I think you did an amazing job. I think you
Thank
represented
you.
the School of Social Work well.
Thank
So I
you.
really appreciate that. Also, but my question is, how do you think AI is going to impact marginalized communities? Do you think it's going to be better or worse?
It already is impacting marginalized communities. So in the work that I do, specifically when I'm looking at my dissertation focus, the use of AI for mental health, Some AI tools don't even detect Black populations. Like they had an AI tool that looked at social media content to detect for suicidal ideation, and it was very, very low for Black and Indigenous respondents, but higher for white respondents. Or even just they used it for police tracking and it being geared towards, obviously African Americans. Even AI, the woman that I showed you, her name's Joy. Well, just put her name up there again. Um, some AI detects Black women as men because of our facial features. So it's already affecting us. That's why I think it's important that we're, in the room for some of these conversations and things that are happening. Dr. Adams is in the building with me. I do work with her through the AI Institute that I talked to you about. We're the only ones in there really that look like us. So it is already affecting us. So that's why I think it's important that people don't just think, oh, AI just for the computer scientists. No, we should be in the conversation as well. And as a social worker, I'm like, you're gonna hear me. So again, in those meetings I'm having, I'm bringing up this information. And in my last student leadership council meeting, someone was showing a map of what was it? Damage, like surveying disaster damage in an area, and it was very like neat. All the houses are one next to each other, streets and all pretty. And I was like, well, what about in areas where it's not that organized? Um, you know, my mother's Puerto Rican, so in Puerto Rico, there's a lot of hurricanes and things like that. They might not have like a map that's all pretty that you can kind of organize from. So thinking about that. So he was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." Like, so I think so it is already being affected in terms of um marginalized populations. Do I think it's bad or good? I think that there can be some good. In terms of mental health, I think it can help with access, but again, we kind of want to look at like what that looks like. Um, so I'm kind of looking at AI mental health tools and seeing the ethics behind them. Are they going to work for marginalized populations? So I don't think there's like oh no, it's bad and oh, it's all good. I think it's both.
Okay, thank you.
Um, Jayla said I'm having trouble finding recast for iOS. Would you mind showing me how to access it? I have not used recast, I'll admit. So if you go to the site, see if you can download it from the site directly. I was actually gonna try to do that next week, try to look at it, because after this presentation, I'm going to Target, y'all. So I'm done for the day. But uh Allison put it in the chat of let's recast. So hopefully it works.
I
And let me
did,
know
but
if it does.
indeed, when you click on the iOS link, it says it's not available in the US.
Oh, wow. Okay, my bad. Sorry for showing you something that's not available in the US. Do you know if does it show it? Because you said it was a desktop site as well.
There is a desktop site that you can use. So
Okay.
yeah, you can still access it. So thank you for sharing it.
Okay, so I would use the desktop site for now. Or if you have a VPN, you can do that. Are there any other questions?
Thank you again, Melanese, for this really great job. I just have a quick question because I am one of those who have been very trepid about getting into the AI space. When do you start like citing your usage of it in your work? So take, for instance, the tools that you showed are phenomenal. Do I cite it once I'm using the content one? So take, for instance, not connected papers, but there was one specifically used.
Like
SciSpace.
SciMap and other
Yes.
Yeah, so for me, I can show you an article that talked about citing AI if you use AI for your words. For me personally, when I do something like SciMap or whatever, I'm just looking at it to get an answer like I would for Google, and then I'm going to the actual source and citing the source. But that might be wrong. I don't know. But I know there are kind of just these talks about what you should cite. I've seen articles where they're like, we used AI to write this section of the paper, and they cited the paper, cited the AI that they used. So I would say yes, cite the AI that you use. And I can send you that paper specifically that talked about citing, as it relates to it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Ms. Wesley, great job. Great job today. Really, really informative webinar, and we're so glad that all of you joined us today. We want to continue on with the interactivity with this webinar as we wrap up in the next 5 or so minutes. So let's hear from you. Number one, out of the 6 different AI tools that were presented today, which of those tools do you feel that you actually going to actually be using yourself? Like, you saw what's available, and do you think that anything that you saw today that was demonstrated, you're actually going to try out yourself? Anyone want to okay. Recast, okay. All right. Sabri said recast. Anyone else want to share what you actually going to be looking into yourself? Maika.
Hi, yes, it's Maika.
Maika.
First, thank you so much, Miss Wesley, for sharing. My dissertation is actually looking at discourse about artificial intelligence on online Black media. So I am also a little bit reluctant in using it, and so I've been navigating that. But the tool that I think that I will use is the one that recreates it as a podcast. I think that's really helpful. I find that I consume information via audio in a better way. And then also I'm working on my literature review. So I don't remember the names of them. There was one that kind of listed on, kind of summarizes the different information that you can find that discusses your topic across various places. Like, I think that'll be a good place for me to start. Even though I might deviate away from that, but I think it will help in guiding the discovery.
Yeah, that one there's Perplexity for that, and SciSpace and Scite. I found Scite to be really good for those kinds of things.
Awesome. JL, I see your hand up.
I really like the idea of having the Litmaps, so being able to make mind maps from your literature. I found myself, I draw them out. So I have 50 billion loose pieces of paper all over the place. And so being able to put an article in and make the connections that you've kind of already made, like she said, I appreciate being able to use it like a quicker Google, because it is more efficient. Not to do the work for you, but to do the work that you're doing quicker, in a sense. I can understand like the hesitation, but like she said, I really also feel like it's not going anywhere. So before it takes over the world, let's like get the best out of it. And I really like being able to make the connections and find the methodologies and the limitations and things like that, then go to the article. I think that'll be helpful along with recast, because I'm on the move a lot. So during commuting, I can use my time more efficiently and listen to summaries of articles and then circle back if I find them to be valid to my research. So very much appreciated.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that feedback, JL. And before I go to our very last question, I just want to let everyone know that our next webinar is going to be in 2 weeks on October the 4th. We'll be having a disability workshop where we'll be actually going into the services that are available to our disabled students at the Howard University Library System. So if you know anyone who would be interested, if you're interested yourself, you're welcome to join us again in 2 weeks' time. So our last question, our final question is there anything that maybe we did not cover today that you would like to see in our next AI webinar? The floor is yours.
Sorry to interject again. I think it would be helpful to know, like, if Howard has an institutional stance on AI, You know, I think Miss Wesley mentioned how you could speak with your dissertation advisor, but what does that look like across like departments, the organization, or sorry, organization, I'm in work mode, the university?
Yeah, so Howard actually does have a couple things on their policy surrounding AI. I think in the school of social work, they are creating one. So I would say if your department has done anything, I think it's a perfect opportunity to ask and be like, hey, what's our stance on this? So they're either being created, but I do know Howard, I think if you search Howard AI, that there are some kind of policies surrounding it. But there need to be more.
Awesome. Any last questions or any comments in regards to anything we may be able to cover next time before we wrap up in this last 30 seconds or so? All right. Well, hearing none, thank you again for joining us today, Miss Wesley. Wonderful job today. Very informative. I think everyone really was enlightened by the information that you presented. So thank you again for this really stellar presentation. And I'll see all of you and hopefully most of you, if not all of you, in 2 weeks' time for a disability workshop. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.